Well, that's the intro one. But anyway, I will be talking about something which has been having a bit of a run lately. Maybe not today. I should have updated my prices actually.
Did you say that this is going to be your best segment ever?
I didn't say that, but that was mostly you. But you know, I'm happy to claim it.
Okay,
we'll see what happens.
Let's make it your best one ever.
If it flops,
it's my
then
fault.
Obviously it won't be.
If it flops, it's my fault.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to be doing Solana or Sol, which is the crypto. So Solana is the blockchain.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and it's also the name of the company.
Okay.
So Solana is something that I think a lot of people have only just kind of caught on to, and it's snuck up all the way into number 7 on Coin Market Cap.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, it really has.
So yeah, it briefly touched 6 a couple of days ago. But yeah, it's pretty much in 7th place.
What's in that? Do you know what's around it? Like what's in that vicinity?
So it's ahead of, it's just behind Ripple XRP.
Whoa!
And it's just
above
Polkadot. It's just
really
ahead of
they're such common names. Okay, cool.
DOT.
That's sick.
Yeah. So in June 2018 was when it launched through its ICO.
ICO, yeah.
So it's been, I mean, I guess in crypto terms, maybe it's not that new, but in terms of like everything else, it is quite new. Like it's still
totally.
Yeah, it's only a year and a half old, or 2.5 years old. I mean.
Yep.
So yeah, on Solana, smart contracts are called programs, and the programs are written in Rust, C, and C++.
Oh, that's coding language, is it?
Yeah, so those languages basically are how you build and deploy smart contracts on the Solana chain.
Cool.
So there's a lot of commentary online about those languages being like kind of simple.
Yep.
But the main reason that those languages are chosen, I will get into this, but it's all about power and speed, basically, Solana. And having a payment system that's powerful and speedy is pretty much the main criteria that
I'd say having anything that's powerful and speedy would be ideal.
True. Okay. It applies to a lot of categories in life. So Solana is also focused around DApps, or Decentralized Applications. I laughed at you last episode for saying DApps. Yeah,
you're laughing at me at everything, bro. Look, you're going to say all these things that you laughed at me about.
Yeah.
Interoperability.
Interoperability. Well, I actually didn't talk about interoperability, so I'll still laugh at you about that one. I haven't done a crypto before as well, by the way. So this is this is my debut into a red hot one,
mate. And you are red hot. Keep going.
Thank you. So yeah, similar to what we were talking about on Everrise.
Yes.
However, DApps aren't really the main reason that the coin exists.
Okay.
They are able to be built though in Rust, C, and C++.
Sick.
So its main purpose for existing is to be faster and more scalable than any other blockchain project.
Ooh.
And as well as having that those DApps and DeFi projects to exist on the blockchain.
Okay.
So on a DApp, you're basically storing data on a blockchain rather than a centralized database. That's basically the point of them.
Yep.
And the transaction and storage cost is paid for by your users instead of by you.
Yes.
So that's kind of the main purpose of a DApp.
Yeah.
And one thing that the founder, Anatoly Yakovenko,
well done.
found.
Very confident.
Thank you. He found
it's probably totally wrong, but it was very confident.
No, that's exactly how it yeah. So he found that Bitcoin and Ethereum have a scaling problem. Okay. And so that's where Solana steps in. So they're both, essentially his mindset is that they're both too old. Like, Bitcoin, obviously too old, too slow.
How funny is that?
But
you're right.
Ethereum stepped in to replace Bitcoin, and it's still too old and too slow, basically.
Yeah.
So he started, so Anatoly Yakovenko started Solana, and he used to work at Qualcomm.
Oh.
And he founded it with two other...
You love Qualcomm.
Well, I don't know what it is, but he started it with... Thanks for the connection, mate.
Wait, you don't know what Qualcomm is?
What is it?
They make all radios and everything, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. Like, I've heard the name before, but I don't exactly know what they do.
Yeah, wireless technology and innovation. Sorry, I derailed it.
It's good.
I thought you would have known what Qualcomm was.
No, I mean, yeah, it's one of those names I think that you hear. It's one of those names that's kind of like Oracle, I think.
Yes.
Where it's like it's a non-exciting tech company that you know what it is,
I'd agree with that.
You don't really know what they do,
4G, 5G, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. it's more like traditional IT. It's traditional boring IT instead
Yes.
of cool software, fresh, new. You know?
Correct. IT infrastructure. There.
Yeah. So he founded it with two other Qualcomm engineers.
Oh, really? They're all from Qualcomm.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
The three. So they've all worked in different places around Silicon Valley and whatever. But they named it after Solana Beach, which is where they all lived and surfed together.
Oh, that's pretty cool. They surf.
Yeah, so
I'll buy it.
Someone who's a little bit less nerdy starting your...
True, that's weird, bro.
Yeah.
What the heck? Actually, maybe I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean...
This is weird.
Well, that's what it kind of says, but if you look at the guy, I don't
He's nerdy?
Yeah, I don't think
Perfect.
Maybe you went surfing one time. You know, one of those summer camp tryout.
On Kelly Pro Surfer on the PlayStation.
Probably, yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, I mean, they all did work at Qualcomm, so that gives you a lot of confidence in the
True, I'm sure
they're
very smart.
So November 2017 was when the white paper was published.
Yes.
And in Q1 of 2019 is when they had token distribution.
Oof. Cool.
All right, so I'm going to go into Solana clusters.
All right,
so
let's do it.
A Solana cluster is a set of validators working together to serve client transactions and keep the integrity of the ledger.
Okay.
And to create a cluster, there needs to be a Genesis config.
Okay.
So the config represents... so it references two public keys, which is a mint and a bootstrap validator. This is as technical as we're going to get in this episode. Actually,
a mint and a bootstrap allocator.
A bootstrap validator. Sorry.
Validator. And they're both what? Wallets?
They're both two public keys. So
okay, what's a public key?
Essentially, the account that holds the bootstrap validator's private key, that's responsible for adding in the initial entries to the ledger, and the mint is a part of the account which will hold the number of native tokens and will make the initial ledger payments using the first entries into the ledger.
Okay.
So basically, the mint holds a set number of SOL, and the whole purpose of the mint is to settle the first entries into that validator's ledger. Mm-hmm. And so that settles those transactions. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of set up as a part of the blockchain in order to make sure that those first few transactions are legit. And then once those first few transactions in that ledger are good, then it's good to go. So I believe that would happen at the start of every epoch, which we have talked about before.
Yeah, we have talked about that before.
I'm not 100% sure if that's the like at the start of the epoch, but I think that's what it means by at the start of each ledger. Yeah. So the bootstrap validation can happen once voting from all the other validators takes place.
Yep.
So the other validators will confirm the new Genesis configs transactions aren't copies.
Yep.
And that the ledger entries are legitimate.
Yep.
And then that node or Solana cluster is essentially allowed to be created.
Okay.
And obviously that cluster has the mint and the bootstrap validator.
And so you're using cluster and node interchangeably there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Was I? Yeah.
No, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Great.
And so anyway,
I'm just wondering whether cluster was a cluster of nodes or whether cluster is a node.
No, I think it's the node. I think it's like the node that starts off the epoch.
Yep.
So I think that's the idea of it.
Makes sense.
You know, the only reason that I'm actually still going in this segment is just that motivation that I'm getting from the other side of the table. So that's actually good stuff.
Okay,
yeah, it's keeping me going.
I'm trying to get you home so you can eat your sausages and mash.
Yeah. No, don't worry about that. I'm motivated by I'm on crypto time now.
Okay.
So block time and transactions per second.
Yes.
So
tell us.
Sol's block time was 400 milliseconds.
Oh, okay.
ETH, which is Ethereum's block time, is 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And BTC, Bitcoin block time is 10 minutes.
Yes, that's right.
So what does that actually mean? Mm-hmm. Transactions per second is the next section that I'm going to be going into.
Yep.
So Bitcoin can process 7 transactions per second.
Yep.
Ethereum can handle between 15 and 45 transactions per second.
Yep.
Visa can process 24,000 transactions per second.
Yep.
Nasdaq can transfer can do 500,000 transactions per second.
Yep.
And Solana can process 710,000 transactions per second.
Damn. Okay.
So that's kind of the point of it. It's
Great.
very, very quick. So the 710,000 transaction per second is on a 1 gigabyte network with no data partitioning.
Yeah.
So the whole point of it is that it's built to be fast.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's built to actually work. So how does it manage that? You might be wondering.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
You're probably thinking, wow, it's even faster than the Nasdaq. I didn't actually realize that the Nasdaq is essentially, what's that? That's 20 times faster than Visa, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, right.
Because 500,000 with the Nasdaq, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more proud of Nasdaq anyway. No.
Okay, how do they do that? How do they keep up with those?
How do they do that?
How do they do that, Isaac?
They have something which is, so we've heard of proof of work before.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
That's obviously the traditional mining,
old,
kind
we
of
don't like
system.
that.
Yeah, we don't like that. It's not very good for the environment. You know? We've heard of proof of stake.
We have.
This uses proof of history.
Yep.
Which is actually it's an expansion on proof of stake. So it's not actually opposed to proof of stake.
Yep.
So it uses proof of stake.
Yeah.
But the system is called proof of history. And so the difference is here.
Yeah.
It uses timestamps in the blockchain to place a specific time and date on the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And the advantage of this, and part of what makes the network so much faster, is because of the timestamps, validators know their order without having to communicate with each other.
Yeah, right.
So there's a specific time when the block is supposed to be sent to the blockchain.
Yeah.
And due to various speeds of internet and systems, they might not arrive at the same time.
Yeah.
But the blockchain knows how to organize them based on when they were sent.
Yep.
Now that's a key difference between a traditional proof of stake and this new proof of history.
Okay.
So essentially, and there was actually a really good analogy where you tell your uncle, your brother, and your cousin to send you a letter, and they don't write the date on it, and your uncle goes to Russia, and your cousin lives next door, and and your brother goes somewhere else. They all send you the letter. You get them in a random order, and they're 3 parts of a story. You're not going to know what happened first or what the deal is. Whereas with proof of history, all they had to do was write the date at the top. And you can put them in the right order, so it doesn't matter. So with essentially what that means is with proof of stake, you're waiting on the slowest transaction to come in first before you can enter the next transaction.
Yeah, right.
But with proof of history, I believe what it means is you can just enter all the transactions and they know exactly where it's supposed to go because they know with the timestamp they can just put the other ones in earlier.
That's pretty cool.
So
that's a defining difference between Ethereum 2.0 and Solana.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And
I like it.
The way that Solana themselves describe it is if there are 4 snapshots of dye diffusion in water.
Oh yeah.
You would know you always know which way to put it in because you can see the dye spreading out into the water.
Yes, correct.
So essentially.
Oh, okay, that's the metaphor.
Essentially, the Solana blockchain always knows which transaction goes where.
Wow.
So incoming events and transactions are hashed, which means they're given a unique timestamp.
Yep.
And so then we know which order they go in.
Yeah.
And it's never held up by consensus protocols, which is another slowdown issue of proof of work and proof of stake.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where other nodes have to be used to help verify a transaction.
Correct.
So yeah, the staking part, how does that kind of play into it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because the more Solana you have staked, the more like your reward is basically, which makes sense. That's kind of how staking works. But it's kind of how it works usually.
No, you're right. No. So you're saying like there's a reward for people who like every time there's a transaction, there's a percentage that goes to holders of the coin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then you get a percentage based on how much you hold?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Yep, good.
Yeah, so each node that has Solana staked in it, they're already pre-allocated the validation.
Yeah.
So what that means is that you can see which node it's going to allocate, which is part of how they get that speed as well.
Yeah.
You can see which one's coming next, which node's going to be the next validator.
Yep. So no one's fighting for validation or anything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because it's already like pre-chosen.
Yep.
That means that there's obviously more speed can be done that way.
Okay, let me confirm this for a sec. So we're thinking that there's a percentage, maybe you'll tell us in a minute, of fees that go towards people who've staked, or nodes. It's nodes who have staked Solana to be a part of the verification system. Is that right? And so me, as a holder of a wallet with Solana in it, I'm not going to receive those percentages because I'm not staking it towards a node. I'm just holding it in my wallet. So the incentive for me, like I'm just trying to figure out what the incentive is for me to stake my Solana in a node. And I assume it's as you're saying. Sorry if I'm making this convoluted. My assumption is that the incentive to stake it in the node is because only that way can you get that percentage of the transaction fee. You don't get the transaction fee if you just have it in a wallet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and you're not going to. Absolutely. So you have to actually actively stake.
Understood.
Still.
Yeah.
And because each node has its own hashing, obviously.
Yes.
Then the blockchain knows the order that you put it in. So essentially the key difference is obviously that timestamp that each node and that the node places on the transaction.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that works.
That's cool.
In terms of programs, there are two.
Yeah, as in the DApps?
No, so the programs, are the smart contracts.
Oh, the smart contracts.
But
yeah.
the programs are the aren't the third party made things. They're just all the native things. So there's the native programs, which they're not particularly interesting, but there's the systems, config, staking, voting.
Okay.
Something called BPF loader and something called SECP 256K.
Oh, cool.
And they're all just those are the native ones.
Yep.
And then there's the Solana program library.
Yep.
Which has a token program, token swap program, token lending program, associated token account program.
Yep.
Memo program, name service, shared memory program, stake pool program, and feature proposal program.
Yep.
So you can pay to vote with the feature proposal stuff.
Yeah.
And you pay Solana, and you can get to vote on how it all works out. The cost per transaction on average is 0.000025 USD. So
wow,
it's really, really cheap as well as being really fast.
Wow.
So it's
is this better than Nano?
Well, I think that is. I don't know if it's cheaper than Nano, but it seems like
Nano doesn't have any fees. But if they're that negligible, then who really cares?
Yeah, and it's also come up like that quick. It's risen to the top that quickly.
Correct.
So it's
it's got much more adoption.
How can it be that bad?
Yeah, can't be that bad.
Exactly.
And that's our review.
And that's our review. We're done. Talking about the validators.
Yeah.
There are 1,063.
Oh, okay.
And
nodes.
Yeah, and each one
doesn't seem like very many.
Cycles around. Yeah, it's a surprisingly low number. So there's a website called solanabeach.io.
Yeah.
And you can actually see which validator is currently leading and which validator is coming up next for transactions.
Mm-hmm.
The top 19 validators, here's a bear case for you. The top 19 validators have 33.6% of the current staking pool.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit centralized in your little decentralized currency.
Yeah.
Still not a huge issue. Like I don't think it's that serious. Like that is 19 different things and it's a third of them.
Yeah.
And Solana Beach also shows delinquent validators, which is interesting to look at.
Okay.
So it shows how long they've been offline for and when their last vote on the Serum system was. So Serum is the voting system that's incorporated in that.
Delinquent voters, that's a funny term, isn't it?
Yeah, delinquent. Yeah. So you can see a couple of delinquent people. So they've got I don't actually know how much they have to stake in order to get their own validator.
Yeah.
But obviously it'd be sad to get penalized for having so much of your, so much SOL on your
definitely
on the blockchain. In terms of wealth distribution, there are 504 million SOL, and the top 10 wealthiest accounts hold 49 million of it, which is about 10%.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And the 11th to the 50th wealthiest accounts hold 82 million SOL, which is 16%.
Okay.
And the 51st to 100th wealthiest accounts also hold 82 million, which is 16%.
Okay. Distribution seems okay.
So the top 100 accounts hold 42% of the SOL. So that's kind of how that breaks down.
Okay.
So it's a little bit, I don't know, it's also a little bit, a lot of whales.
Yes.
But we'll get into the reason for that in a minute.
Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. They're 75% of accounts. This is also another kind of bear case. 75% of accounts hold between 0.001 SOL and 0.01 SOL,
yeah, right.
which at $164, which it was quite recently.
Yeah, right. We're talking real money.
Yeah.
It's none of these like 0.000000007 cents.
No. It's a real currency. But at $164
yeah.
USD, which it was yesterday.
Yeah.
That means that 3/4 of accounts hold $1.64 or less.
Okay.
So that's concerning. But
yes,
at the same time, I can't compare that with any of the other ones.
No.
So, I mean, and there are a lot of people on cryptos that are just like, oh, I'll get a little bit of this and a little bit of this and that kind of thing. And heaps of people playing around. So
yeah, a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of current usage, there are only 2,200 live transactions per second at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happening now.
Yeah.
So it's both inflationary and deflationary.
Oh.
So
how is that?
Well, I'm gonna get to it. So 100% of transaction fees were originally burned. Now it's now it's 50% of transaction fees.
Okay.
And the other 50% goes towards a hackathon, which is basically a little thing where they try and find vulnerabilities and flaws and stuff like that.
And they offer a prize money.
And they offer $5 million in prizes.
Cool.
So they're currently offering $5 million
really
in prizes.
Sick. That's cool.
And then 50% of the transaction fees are burned now.
Yeah.
And
meaning that it's been transferred into a wallet that no one can access.
Yeah. And
with the idea being that it makes the currency more scarce.
Yeah, with the idea being that. But the inflation schedule, so that was the deflation part. The inflation part is that staking rewards are 8% at the moment. And then the reward will gradually be cut over a 10-year period where it'll eventually, in 10 years' time, it'll be 1.5%.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be the reward for and then it'll be 1.5 for the next 5 years after that.
Yeah, well, hopefully the value of the currency is so much that.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the point. So the high inflation is to promote validator adoption.
Yeah.
And then as it gets more and more valuable over time, the rate of inflation goes down and people own a lot of it, so it's good.
Yep.
All right, now I'm going to get into the funding rounds.
Okay.
So 34% of their supply originally was sold in 4 private funding rounds pre-ICO. So that's 34% of their supply now was sold at that time.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's basically, in March 2018, they raised $3.2 million at 4 cents per token.
Oh my goodness.
In June 2018, they raised $12.6 million at 20 cents per token.
And this was all before it was on the market, is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Okay.
And in July 2019, they raised $5.7 million at 22 cents per token.
Yeah.
And then their launch round was $2.4 million in funding at 25 cents per token.
Wow.
So their recent fundraising, though, so Solana got $314 million in VC-led funding.
Right.
And it was led by Andreeson Horowitz, Polychain Capital, and Alameda Research.
Oh, yeah.
So the exact amount was $314,159,265.35.9.
Glad I know that.
And the amount was because that's pi times 100 million.
Oh.
So if you're worried about them being too sporty or cool, you definitely don't have to. It's
True.
Still a buy from me. It's
Lol.
So yeah, they raised, and instead of raising equity, they raised the funding through Solana's sold digital tokens.
Do
Obviously.
you know what the value of the tokens was when they?
Well,
sold
this was earlier this month. I think it was.
Do you reckon they did it at market price, or would they have given them a discount? Or you don't know.
I'm not sure, but if we look at 1 month ago,
Yeah.
on the 22nd of the 8th,
Yeah.
the price was $75.49.
All right.
And the current price that's in USD,
Yeah.
and the current price is $141.50. And it hit it.
It's amazing to think that these investment banks or whatever or funds are buying literally like tokens.
Yeah.
And seeing this kind of
Yeah.
increase in a month or so.
Well, it maxed out on the 9th at 212 USD.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow.
pretty crazy.
Is it down a bit now, is it?
Yeah, it's down a bit.
Okay.
It's had a little bit of a correction, but it's still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
Well,
double.
that's the nature of it.
It's still 100% more than
Some
it was
people
a
took
month
their
ago.
profits and didn't see any more in it.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll go high, I'm sure, once I buy some.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So this is something that I'm talking about was $31 a year ago today.
Yeah, right.
And it's right up at 141 now.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's a pretty decent gain, but obviously something that launched it at 25 cents as well. So
Who are these people? Hey?
it's
Crazy.
yeah, it's great stuff.
It is.
So who owns most of it? So 12.5% is currently held by the founders.
Oh, yeah.
12.5.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
yeah.
Do you know what the market cap is?
The market cap is currently $42 billion.
Okay.
So
they've got $5 billion.
oh, here we go. Hang on, sorry. There's fully diluted market cap, and there's market cap.
Fully diluted. Are they still generating tokens?
They're giving an 8% return on everyone, but I think that the supply was originally 550 million.
Yeah.
Now it's 504 million, but they are burning tokens.
Yeah.
But I think that the returns are given out of the next one, which is Solana Foundation, which holds 12.5%.
Yeah, right.
So they're probably giving the 8% return out of the Solana Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, so
introducing new tokens.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're holding those tokens.
They're holding them. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And they're giving them out.
And they're redistributing them.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. 4% is held by the grant pool, which is that hackathon and that. And so I guess they'll use. They also use that money, I think, to pay other projects and stuff on the on the Solana blockchain. 35.6% is held by locked purchasers, so they can't sell. So I assume what that means is that's a staked amount, and then 33.9 of the holders are the community.
Yeah.
So I assume what it means by the community is that those people just have it in wallets, but it's not staked.
Yes.
So about 70% seems to be publicly held, or not particularly publicly held.
If you
but
include staking and
the amounts that are staking and wallet are about 70%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Understood.
So the price was 163 USD a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's down to 141.
Wow.
So the market cap, the fully diluted market cap, is $71 billion.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what CoinMarketCap defines as their market cap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's their current price times their circulating supply. So the fully diluted market cap is the one to go for because that's the actual full supply.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 71 billion. So yeah, there's a fair bit that's not circulating. So I guess that's 30 billion that's not really circulating, which is good because it means that people are holding it for the long term.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, seventh largest crypto behind Ripple and ahead of Polkadot.
Yep.
And at the start of 2021, the price was under $2, which is
whoa,
which is an interesting one.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all right, so I'll move on to Solana's projects and its DApps.
Okay.
So here
Are
we
you
go.
going to name all 700 DApps?
There are 338 actually. I'm glad you asked. And
here we go. Lock in, people.
These are my favorites. So So the first one I'm going to talk about briefly. I'm going to talk about all of these briefly. I don't know why you think that. Looking at the time, how much time have we got?
No, we got all the time in the world, bro.
Oh, nice. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Wormhole. It's a cross-chain blockchain connector between Sol, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and FTM.
Provides interoperability between the chains.
Yes, interoperability. And
so good.
Basically, that means you can move tokenized assets across blockchains and benefit from Solana's high speed and low fees.
Cool. Oh, so you can trade Bitcoin on Solana chain.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
I think,
Nice.
I guess, yeah.
You heard it here.
Next, I'm going to... I don't... So the next...
Take that back.
The next thing that I'm going to talk about is a category called AMM, Automated Market Makers.
Ooh.
So... I like automated market makers, and I'm going to talk more about I'm going to talk about more about AMMs in a later episode.
Cool.
There are 26 of these on Solana.
Yep.
One of them is called Radium, which is probably the most common one. There's also Saber and Hydra Swap. Basically, market making, to go over it, is where you provide the relative price of an asset against another asset.
Yep.
Being a market maker, you have to provide a bid and ask price of Solana or of Sol.
Yep.
And it means that you're providing the buy and the sell price.
Yep.
And the market maker takes the spread between the bid and ask.
Yep.
And as a reward, you get that spread, and you also get to keep the market efficient, basically.
Yep.
And so if you're providing the wrong price, someone can arbitrage against you, basically. Yep. And if you provide the right price, you get that reward for being efficient, basically.
Okay.
So, the way that you actually get into these is a system called liquidity pools. So a few different services offer them, like Binance.
Cool.
And that's a good example of DeFi income.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Radium is the biggest... it's a pretty big market maker in terms of just like Sol.
Yeah.
And it also offers options like exchange, yield farming, pooling, and a launchpad for more Solana projects.
Right.
And it's partnered with Serum, which is the decentralized exchange built entirely for Solana, and it's like the voting exchange.
Yeah.
And a couple of general apps. These are my 6... Well... I was going to say 6 favorites, but they're just 6 random ones that I pulled out.
Perfect.
But no, they're good. So I thought that they were funny. So the first one is called Bali Sari.
Okay.
And this is a project that's based in Bali where customers can pay for tours and airport services around Bali using Sol. I think it's specifically airport-based.
Okay.
Which is very niche.
Very niche.
The next one is called Human Protocol. This is a Singapore-based company. Yeah. That helps machine learning and solicits people to label tasks, identify raw data like videos, images, and text, and turns all of that into meaningful information for AI to improve tasks like speech and visual recognition, which is cool.
Okay.
All right, the next one is called Solana Roll. This is a dice-based Solana gambling game.
Oh.
And the one after that is called Soldate, which is a dating platform built on Solana.
What?
Solarium, which is a decentralized end-to-end encrypted messenger on Solana's blockchain.
Okay.
And Polarity, which is a community-owned decentralized advertising network on Solana.
Okay.
So there's a couple of cool projects that you can build on Solana.
Yeah.
Next category I'm going to talk about is DeFi.
Okay.
So there are 106 DeFi applications.
Oh.
And I'm going to talk about every single one. No. So there are a couple of... So these are my top 3 that I pulled from there.
Great.
So there's Anchor, which provides a basic savings product.
Oh, yeah.
Jet Protocol, which provides lending products and cross-chain interest rate arbitrage.
Okay.
Which is cool. So they're...
Interesting.
Yeah, they're finding the inconsistencies in different chains, I guess, and using Solana to capitalize on them.
Okay.
And Solana Finance, which is a yield farming aggregator, which is a DeFi term.
Okay.
Next segment. So I'm done with the DApps and stuff now.
That's it.
Now. Well,
boom.
Kind of. So I'm talking about the serious ones now.
Okay.
So you might have heard me saying to you the other day that, because you wouldn't have heard it, but the first $1 million NFT was sold on Solana. So the first $1 million NFT on Solana was sold the other day.
Yeah, yes.
And that was using a platform called Metaplex, which there are 42 different NFT projects on Solana. This one seems to be the biggest one.
Metaplex. Okay.
This is the one that they're kind of advertising as well. Like Solana advertises on its page and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to talk about that. But basically, it's an NFT tool which operates using Solana and has low cost minting. So the average mint cost is 34 cents and the average auction cost is $3.01.
Yep.
And compare that with Ethereum NFT projects. NFTs typically cost an average of $70 to $120 to mint.
Oh, wow.
And during peaks, that can go up to $300. So the first NFT to sell on Solana for $1 million was a degenerate ape. And basically, it looks like a green ape with a brain in its mouth. And it sold for 5,980 Sol, or 1.1 million USD.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a good one. And you thought NFTs were dead when we did them in March or whatever it was.
I'm still skeptical.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've really hyped up over the last
they have. Yes,
month
I
or
agree.
2 months. Yeah.
Yes.
No, definitely you should be skeptical because I also am. I just think they're funny. And so, so I'm all bullish on those. No, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, the amount of teenage millionaires that there are now from all the different degenerate apes and monkeys and stuff.
Yes.
It's very comedic. So the next project that I'm going to... So these are like the projects that Solana advertises as like its main... It's basically got 3 that it really pushes on its website as like the really cool the really cool ones.
Yeah.
The next one is called Audius. This is a music streaming platform based in San Francisco and LA, and it has 5 million monthly active users.
Yeah.
And it's built on the Solana blockchain, and it seems to have a really heavy like use case to support artists. So it seems to pay them in Solana and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it sounds a lot like Tidal to me. Like it seems like an exact same Tidal, but it's built on Solana.
Gotcha. And how'd that go?
It didn't go well, but that's on Jay-Z.
True.
Maybe these guys will do it better.
Yeah.
So it had a bit of a branding problem, but we can talk about that another day.
Another day.
And the next project is Star Atlas.
Okay.
So this one's cool. This is an MMORPG.
Okay.
But what does that mean? What do letters on a screen mean? What is life? It's a massive multiplayer role-playing game.
Okay.
So if you've heard of World of Warcraft, I think it's essentially
I have heard
like
of it.
one of those, except it features 2 in-game currencies, which are on the Solana blockchain.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And a range of NFT collectibles.
Yep. Yeah,
and it said that you should actually be able to make money by being good at the game.
Yep.
So that's a unique spin on gaming actually being useful, which is kind of cool.
True.
And next I'm going to talk about the other coins that are on Solana.
Okay,
so USDT and USDC, you might have heard of them.
Yeah.
Tether, as well as the other stable coin for US dollars, are on Solana.
Really?
So Tether is on Solana, Ethereum, EOS, and Bitcoin Cash blockchains.
Okay.
And USDC, 2.2 billion in USDC is issued on Solana.
Okay.
And I think it's about 2 billion Tether as well.
Yep.
That's on Solana also.
Yep.
And USDC, 50 million of it is traded on average daily on Solana.
Wow.
And so those are the two stable coins.
Yes.
Basically use Solana a lot. So
yes.
It's kind of cool.
I think Tether is a little bit I don't know. There've been some things that people have been talking about in regards to how much of the Tether is actually pinned to real.
Yeah.
Currency. Bit of a worry at some point, but I don't know.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been a bit of there's a lot of people talk about it as a scam.
Yeah, a little bit of controversy. Yeah, a little bit of a scam, but I don't know.
hard to say.
It is hard to say.
I haven't researched it myself.
Neither.
Yeah. But here's another cool one. FTX is entirely built on Solana.
Oh, is it?
So the ticker is actually FTT on most exchanges, which I find funny.
Yeah.
So using FTX, there has been 4.3 billion transacted since its inception, with 80 million in average daily volume. So FTX is a decentralized derivatives exchange, and it's created by Sam Bankman-Fried, who also started Alameda Research and is the youngest billionaire in the world.
Really?
At 29 years old. So he's a really interesting dude. And he
youngest billionaire.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So he
wouldn't there be some other random crypto billionaire who's like?
Well, I'm looking at it. I don't know.
Oh, you're looking at it? Yeah. No, you're probably right.
Just $1 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money, isn't it?
I mean, there's someone with the last name Andreeson who's 25, but that reminds me a lot of Andreeson Horowitz. Yes. So, yeah.
No, continue. You're right.
Yeah. So anyway, he's an interesting dude. So, maybe maybe there's something about him being rich and young. Anyway, it says that he's amassed a $10 billion fortune in just 3 years.
Right. That's a lot.
Which is pretty cool.
That is.
And Alameda Research
he's
is also
FTX
his company.
guy, is that what you said?
Yeah. And he started Alameda Research, which is a big VC as well.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So yeah, maybe he's done a lot anyway. So
true. FTX have the naming rights for the stadium in Miami.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. It was American Airlines Arena, and now it's FTX.
Yeah, so
it's something legit.
Something you can do with money, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Solana, it seems like a pretty cool coin. It's got a couple of centralization issues, I think, on one hand, but it's also got insane speed.
Yes.
It's truly like you put its stats against any other crypto. Pretty much seems to be better in terms of cost effectiveness, speed.
Yeah.
Seems quite powerful.
Yeah.
Not a lot of drawbacks.
Yeah.
So
and additional applications that are built on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, and one of the other negatives is obviously that you can only build in Rust C and C++, which I think people have issues with. Because I think that they like to program with other things.
Okay, so it could limit developers potentially.
Yes, but apart from that, I think it's definitely my favorite crypto out there.
Do you own it?
I do own it.
What percentage would you say of your portfolio?
I couldn't give you an exact because...
a bit of a rough. Obviously, things change every day.
Yeah.
Are we talking 5%, 10%, 50%?
Of
75%.
So of my crypto portfolio, I would say it's like 30%.
Oh wow! Okay, significant.
Yeah.
Great.
What are your thoughts on it?
Sounds like I should go buy some.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. This is not financial advice, which I can say for the first time.
Are you a financial advisor?
No, I have to say it now. Legally required. So it's the show that costs less than a Met Gala ticket. Thank you for joining us on HQLA episode 19.
Very reasonably priced.
Very reasonably priced. It's a show that costs us less than $35,000 to produce.
You wouldn't know, though.
I mean, doesn't look like it, does it? If you liked this episode, please say nice lighting.
Yes, and a 5-star comment. That'd be great.
A 5-star comment, please.
Yes, we love the 5-star comments.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder what the news anchors talk about as like the credits are...
Oh, when they're all talking to each other and they're laughing?
Then they're like...
Wouldn't they be just saying some random stuff? Like, what's that word that you're supposed to say?
A rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
Do you reckon? Or do you reckon they're like, what are you up to on the weekend, Trev?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they have a thing, like maybe they ask a question like every time, like, what you had for dinner last night, Trevor?
Yeah. And they just keep that question up.
Yeah, same question every time or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
they have a beginning at one and an end one, because there's also that beginning bit where they're shuffling the papers.
That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good stuff.